Hello, my name is Patrick Henry. If I were alive today, which I am in heaven, my speech would go something like this. No man thinks more highly than I do of the patriotism, as well as the good intentions of the very worthy men who are running for president. But different men often see the same subject in a different light, and therefore, I hope that it shall not be thought disrespectful to those worthy gentlemen if, entertaining as I do opinions of a character very opposite theirs, that I shall speak forth my sentiments freely and without reserve. Even though we are at a convention, this is no time for ceremony. The question before the Republic today is one of an awful moment in this country. For my own part, I consider it as nothing less than a question of freedom or slavery, and proportion to the magnitude of the subject ought to be the freedom of the debate. It is only in this way that we can hope to arrive at truth and fulfill the great responsibility which we owe to God and to our country. Should I hold back my opinions at such a time through fear of giving offense, I would consider myself as guilty of treason toward my country and as an act of disloyalty toward the majesty of heaven, which I revere above all earthly kings. Ladies and gentlemen, it is natural for man to indulge in the illusions of hope. We are apt to shut our eyes against a painful truth and listen to the song of that siren until it transforms us into beasts. Is this the part of wise men engaged in the great and arduous struggle for liberty? Are we destined to be among those who, having eyes, see not, and having ears, hear not, those things which so nearly concern their temporal salvation? For my part, whatever anguish of the spirit it may cost, I wish to know the whole truth, to know the worst, and to provide for it. I have but one lamp by which my feet are guided, and that is the lamp of experience. I know of no way of judging the future but by the past. And judging by the past, what has the federal government done in the last 50 years with which men are so pleased to solace themselves and to comfort their fellow countrymen? Is it that lack of action they take when we demand them to close our borders? Is it the way that the activist judges ignore our Constitution? Is it the vibrant and charismatic speeches with which our politicians tell us they will solve all our problems and give us new government benefits, taking care of us from cradle to grave? Trust it not, sir. It will prove a snare to your feet. Suffer yourselves not to be betrayed with a kiss. Ask yourself how these gracious campaign promises and new government handouts align themselves with the loss of our basic freedoms and the erosion of our rights. Is the creation of more government agencies to protect us necessary for a work of liberty and freedom? Have we shown ourselves so unwilling to follow the good laws that bad laws and huge bureaucracies must be created to keep us in line? Let us not deceive ourselves, sir. These are implements of tyranny and subjugation, the last arguments to which dictators resort. I ask you, American citizens, what is the meaning of all these new anti-freedom laws and anti-liberty regulations if its purpose is not to force us into submission? Can gentlemen assign any other explanation for it? Has America any enemy besides what it has allowed through our porous borders that calls for the accumulation of all these new agencies and bureaucracies? No, sir. They are meant for us. They can be meant for no other. They are here to bind and rivet those chains which the federal government has been so long forging.